Can I call 911 for a wellness check update? They won't give you an update. They might call you and ask for a full statement. But even then, they likely won't tell you anything. You'll know they arrived and found the kid. So that would be good. But if they do their job right, they won't tell you anything about it. Tough situation. You can call back and ask for an update, but I doubt you'll get one. The truth is the police don't have to share anything with you, and they may feel that the family right to privacy is more important than your right to know what happened. Regardless, feel good that you did the right thing. It's not uncommon for the police to take over 15 minutes to respond to something like that. I'm sure they investigated it to the best of their abilities. One night driving in a dark winding highway, I found a little girl in nothing but a nightgown, walking alone crying. I got her wrapped in my coat and buckled in and drove back to town to call 911 and got her to the police. I was able to later contact the exact officer who met in town, and he told me she was safe but not much else. I think being some random guy, he may have kind of stretched some rules, but he knew I was really concerned and did at least fill me in just a little bit and put my mind at ease. For the most part, one think unless you are a witness or family member, you just have to assume you did your best and hope it helped, because I wouldn't want police telling some random person my business. And they may have certain liability in keeping things from us in some circumstances. Hope it all went well. Sometimes we can only do so much and have to hope that is enough. They won't give you details as just the caller. If you call the non-emergency line and ask super nicely, they may let you know whether or not an officer was dispatched, but that's about as much as you'll get. You can call the non-emergency number L and talk to the officer who worked it or their supervisor. Please don't call 911 asking for an update. If you have an emergency or something you view as an emergency that needs response right now, that is what 911 is for. Child locked in a room screaming, "Let me out," is a perfect example of what to call 911 for. Any event that is created for a police department has a report and a public narrative. They can advise you of the public narrative. It will not contain any names or any precise details, but a basic, "we responded," contacted subjects, and either arrests, citations, or nothing found, unfounded. If arrests were made, you can check your local jail websites or your state's system for charges and such if you are good at searching and making connections with minimal details. You can also check online and see if your local PD has a daily blotter, which will be all of those public narratives posted online. At the end of the day, you did the right thing calling it in. Know that it was checked out. Even if you don't get closure, you did what you could. Not 911 unless it's an emergency. Call the non-emergency number. If you call the non-emergency number, you might be able to have the call taker tell you if the person was okay. You can also request the police report, but it might cost money. They then can redact any confidential info, but you can find out what happened. You can get the case number by the non-emergency number. I was a dispatcher and call taker, and that's what I was taught to do. First of all, thank you for caring. I had a pretty rough childhood myself, and there were so many times my parents treated me in a similar fashion, and in public, and nobody ever stepped out to do something about it. Although you could see people even made eye contact with me few times. On a somewhat unrelated note, some guy tried to assault me once in a broad day light, and there was a male bystander. But he did absolutely nothing. Even though I screamed and even pleaded to him to help, I eventually got out of the situation. But it's really scary and absolutely unreal how little people actually do something about stuff like that. So you definitely did the right thing, and you are my hero. Heart, I hope that kid is now in much better place, or the authorities at least know that something is really amiss. If you believed that there was an adult in the bathroom with the child, why not ask the Pizza Hut employee, hey, what's up with the crying kid in the bathroom? If you thought that the employee had locked their kid in there, why would the pizza employee remain so unbothered by the crying, knowing it's drawing attention to the whole hiding of their child in a bathroom? It makes zero sense that the employee would lock their kid in a public restroom. First of all, there's no lock that would allow them to lock them inside. Secondly, the crying, the "let me out of here," totally sounds like a child being confronted or disciplined by a parent. If you're having to hang out there for a minute while you wait for your order to be done, why not go and act as though you're using the restroom and see for yourself what the situation really is? It's never wrong to call 911 when you suspect a child is being harmed. It's also okay to use a public restroom and have all of your questions answered immediately. I don't know, I personally would have gone in there myself to see if this is something legitimately worth worrying about, or is this a typical child meltdown that the parent is choosing to handle in the bathroom where they have more privacy. That kinda sounds like someone being held against their will, which is a 911 call. They can decide it should have been non-emergency. What you described wasn't a wellness check but suspected crime. You can call the non-emergency line and ask, or even visit the local PD and see if you can get an update. But you may not be entitled to find anything out. Can't hurt to ask though. You might get a little information looking at the daily crime reports. Around here, if it's the city PD, they have a lot of information, but the sheriff's office is very basic. If it's not there, there was probably never a police report. They won't give you an update to protect the person's confidentiality. They won't go out of their way to call you back, unless they want a statement. Customer service isn't really their thing. But you can call a non-emergency number for their department and ask for an update, and I believe they will give you one if they are able to. See something, say something. Good on you for going out of your way to do the right thing. Call the non-emergency number and ask to speak to the PIO. That's Public Information Officer. They'll be the one to either answer your question or tell you they can't answer. If they say no and you're still really curious, you can file a Freedom of Information Act request to get the police report. But that requires time and often money. And any medical, private information in it will be redacted anyway. No, they have a normal number you can call. You 100% did the right thing. Sometimes we have to step in for the sake of a child. Comments are saying they may not give you an update, but it doesn't hurt to call the non-emergency line and ask, or even contact Pizza Hut store manager and see if they heard anything. That's sad. It's been said, but I'll say it again. Definitely don't call 911. A follow-up is not an emergency. You can try to call the police station, but don't expect many answers.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.